everybody. Okay, so we're getting ready here to do part 2 of our gut health session. Yesterday we talked about the microbiome, how important it is, and things to avoid. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about the microbiome, but from a different perspective. Before I get into anything, though, I'm going to start like I have in the past and do a little disclaimer. Okay, so in this video and in all subsequent videos here and after, I make no claims. I do not claim that any product, strategy, or plan will treat, prevent, or cure any disease or illness. None of the products that I mention have been approved by the FDA, and it is advised that you seek the advice of your doctor before changing your current health plan or taking a new supplement. Okay, so that is out of the way. So today, like I said, I wanted to get back to talking about gut health. You know, yesterday we talked about the microbiome and the ecosystem and how important it is. I talked about all the things that it's responsible for: regulating inflammation, conversing with the brain, hormone production, vitamin and nutrients, and your immune system. All kinds of really vital things that your microbiome is responsible for. I talked about things to avoid, things that can harm this ecosystem and kind of damage it, like medications, artificial sweeteners, food additives, antibiotics, those types of things. Now today, I want to talk a little bit more about how to help this ecosystem flourish. You know, things to not avoid, but things that you're going to want to introduce into your diet and your lifestyle that can help these microorganisms proliferate and to grow. So if you think of, say, a vegetable garden, you know, it's not just about keeping the harmful things away. You've got to really take into consideration things like fertilizer, sun, water. These are as equally important as keeping the rabbits away, and you know. So today I want to talk about the good things for the microbiome. So what's good for the microbiome? First, foods with prebiotic potential. So what is a prebiotic? So a prebiotic is a non-digestible ingredient. It's basically a fiber, a non-digestible fiber that promotes and really helps the good microorganisms grow. It's like it feeds them. It's food for them in the intestines. So things like inulin, psyllium husk, raw chicory root, Jerusalem artichokes, leeks, raw onion, asparagus, seaweed, barley, oats, those types of things. They all have this non-digestible good fiber in it that it has prebiotic potential. So it's important to introduce these things into your diet to help that ecosystem, help that microbiome flourish. You know, we all have the strains in us, but for most of us, for many of us, because of lifestyle, because of just the way things are nowadays, these strains are severely deficient or lacking. They're not, we don't have as many of them as we should or as we need. So that being said, if you're attempting to get your gut in order, you know, I would suggest that you try to eat one large salad every single day. You can still include your healthy fats, your proteins, but it's very important to get that big plate of raw veggies every single day, because that is your non-digestible fiber. Those vegetables and stuff, they have prebiotic potential, so they're very good for the gut, very good for the microbiome. Again, choose organic ones when at all possible, things that are free from pesticides, because again, those harm the microbiome like we talked about yesterday. And please do not take this big beautiful salad and just douse it with a bunch of super processed salad dressing with 6 bazillion chemicals and additives in it, because that's not, like we talked about yesterday, that's not helping the ecosystem. Also, eat plenty of good fats. Now, not hydrogenated oils, good healthy fats. I mentioned this before, but these really help decrease inflammation in the body. And this is really going to help the ecosystem thrive. Really try to get a bunch of omega-3s in your diet. Try to eat at least a fist-sized portion of wild caught fatty fish, probably 3 times a week if you can. If you cannot do this, you might want to consider supplementing with a good quality fish oil, an omega product, something that has a lot of EPA and DHA in it. This is very important, especially if you suspect you might have a compromised gut. So the EPA and the DHA are very important. And please be careful, because not all supplements are created equal, especially when it comes to fish oil. There's a watchdog company recently who discovered that a good portion of the fish oil supplements on the market in this country today are made with rancid fish. So yeah, kind of nasty, but that's not ideal for the microbiome either. So it's very important to be choosy when you're taking fish oil. I can point you in the right direction. If you do need help, just message me, let me know. But do try and get omega-3s in. The next thing to consider adding would be fermented foods. Things like sauerkraut, kombucha, all natural pickles, raw milk cheeses, like cheeses where the milk has not been pasteurized. That's important. But these things have the living organisms in them with the good bacteria, so you're repopulating that microbiome, you're repopulating the gut. So these are very beneficial. But I will say, for those of you, some people who struggle with candida, okay, who already have it, like a yeast overgrowth in the gut, fermented foods could potentially make matters worse. Now, I know this is debated among health professionals, and it's a hotly debated topic, but I actually have seen firsthand with clients people who get flare-ups with candida when they eat fermented foods. Fermented foods are great because they restore the good bacteria, because they're essentially food for the good bacteria. But candida also likes to feed on fermented foods. So for this reason, I would suggest doing something to kill the candida first and work on really getting that overgrowth under control, and then introducing fermented foods into your diet so that you're repopulating. But I think it's important to take that step first to get the candida under control. Some of you might be asking, okay, what is candida? Candida is a yeast, a fungus. It's normal to have. Everyone has it. We're supposed to have it. We get it at birth through the birth canal, but we're supposed to have it in small quantities. If it grows beyond that and it becomes this overgrowth, it can grow out of control with things like birth controls, pills, antibiotics, a diet high in sugar, or processed carbs, because remember, carbs turn into sugar, they turn into glucose, and candida actually feeds on sugar. That's another food. It loves sugar, so it will increase and multiply with a diet in sugar. So if you've got this stuff going on and candida begins to grow out of control, and if it's left unchecked in the digestive tract specifically, it can break down the walls and the intestinal lining, and then you get these things into your bloodstream. This releases toxins. It's what causes leaky gut syndrome. So then you have these things in your blood, and all of a sudden you're developing food sensitivities, food allergies, even autoimmune disease. So candida can be a very serious thing if left unchecked. It causes a whole bunch of symptoms. So if you are concerned that possibly you might have it, you can get on my website. There is a symptom survey, rebuildingyourtemple.com, and Candida has a whole list of symptoms. Actually, I might post one on the page too. But look over it, and if you suspect that you could possibly have Candida, make sure you're following that protocol. Not introduce fermented foods right away, but maybe work on the Candida first. Okay, so back to the microbiome. All right, so the next thing you will want to strongly consider is supplementation. I would suggest supplementing if you do think that your microbiome is compromised. Here I'm going to recommend, once again, the Plexus Triplex with its newest product called Vitobiome. Okay, some of you are thinking, what, again with this Triplex thing? You said it was blood sugars. Yes, I did, but I also said, if you remember in the first video or one of the earlier videos, that it's also good for gut health, and I would talk about it later, so now it's later. Okay, so yes, very good for the microbiome, and here's why. Okay, so first, if we look at, because there's 3 products in the Triplex. It's Plexus Slim, Plexus Probio 5, Plexus BioCleanse. So let's take the Slim first. So Plexus Slim, they call it a microbiome activating product. So here's why. So it has in it these amazing prebiotics, okay? And with these, you know, in vitro studies, all right, it's shown that Slim can increase the bifidobacterium, okay, 290 times. 290 times. So what is that? So it's a good bacteria in your body that produces lactic acid. Why do we need lactic acid? Why is that so important? Well, if you don't have enough lactic acid in the gut, then the pH of the gut goes up. And what strains then do well in that environment? Very infective bacteria do well in that environment. Things like E. coli, strep, staph, these things do very well when your pH of your gut changes like that. So basically, without enough lactic acid, you actually create this breeding ground in your gut for very harmful bacterial, infective bacterial, like the ones I just mentioned. So Slim, though, like I said, it increases the lactic acid producing bacteria 290 times. So it kind of keeps that environment of the gut, keeps the pH of the environment good for good bacteria, bad for bad bacteria. So Slim also has lactobacillus, or it has a prebiotic that can increase lactobacillus by 365 times. So these are studies done, okay? 365 times is substantial. So why is this lactobacillus important? Well, it works to produce lactic acid, but it also fights against, actively fights against pathogens, including Candida. So for those of you who suspect or know that you have Candida, this would be extremely helpful. It increases your immune response, and it's very, very resilient in acidic environments and with bile and stuff. So if you have an acidic gut, I mean, this is a bacteria that's going to do really well. It's not going to be harmed by it. Slim also increases Akkermansia by 250 times. 250 times. I've talked several times so far about Akkermansia. Why is Akkermansia important? I mentioned it yesterday, but this little bacteria is what's in charge of, it controls metabolism. And there's been studies shown, okay, that, people who have weight issues, they are significantly lacking in Akkermansia. So that's huge for this group when we're talking about weight loss. Akkermansia also lowers inflammation, and it strengthens the immune system. It does a whole bunch of different things. So very, very key. Slim also increases butyrate by up to 58%. So what is that? Well, that is a short chain fatty acid that helps keep the gut wall healthy and sealed. So I talked before about leaky gut, where the candida can break down the wall. Well, this helps seal it and keep it healthy and closed. Again, this is huge for people with leaky gut, but it actually also encourages the immune system to make a specialized immune cell that can fight inflammation. So it's not just good for leaky gut, but all of the pathologically inflammatory issues such as Crohn's, colitis, IBD. These are all very inflammatory, and so this is huge for that. Now, I told you before that the triplex is a 3-product combo pack. So the next one in the triplex is called Probio 5. Now, this is a very, very powerful probiotic. The 5 stands for the 5 strains that are in the probiotic. And they are very powerful strains. They highly tested. So I'm not going to get into all of the strains, but they are good strains. I can give you a sheet with more information. You can get on the website and look at the label of the product. But it also, what's key for the Probio 5 is it also has an enzyme blend in it that's designed to kind of break the outer shell of harmful organisms like yeast and fungus and that type of thing. If you think of like Candida, Candida specifically, it has this hard outer shell on it. It's kind of like a cockroach. It's made of the same kind of material. And so when you're trying to, it's like its protective shell. So when you're trying to kill an overgrowth in Candida, the Candida protects itself with this shell. So what's absolutely important in killing it is using that enzyme blend to crack and break the shell so that the inner organism is exposed, and then the probiotic can attack the inner part of the organism and kill it. Without the ability to crack that shell, though, the Candida protects itself. So if you start taking, some other probiotic that has no way of doing that, you're basically trying to crowd out the Candida, but it's not dying off. You're not actually actively killing it. So yes, you're repopulating good guys with these other probiotics, but you're not targeting and taking out the bad guys that are harmful to the body and causing a lot of distress in the GI tract and these sort of things. So it's very important. So also Probio 5, it's microencapsulated, so it can withstand stomach acid. So remember, these are living organisms, so they're very susceptible in a lot of cases to stomach acid and bile. So the microencapsulation of the Probio 5, it will protect it. It will protect those live organisms, the probiotics, until it gets into the gut where it is needed. So a lot of times, you'll see certain probiotics in the stores and stuff, and it says it's got 50 billion of this or whatever, but they're not microencapsulated. And as soon as you take them, most of them are destroyed in stomach acid, and they never reach the intended destination. So they're doing very little, if anything at all. So it's very important. Probio 5 also has vitamin B6, which increases the amount of oxygen that's carried by the blood throughout the body. And like I said before, a well oxygenated body, it's resistant to yeast and fungus. So you're making a better breeding ground for the good bacteria and a worse breeding ground for the bad bacteria. So this too, it's very important. Probio 5 also has what's called grapeseed extract. Now, grapeseed extract is one of the most powerful antioxidants that you can get that will fight free radicals in the body. It's 20 times more powerful than vitamin C, 50 times more powerful than vitamin E. And it's also antiviral, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory. So it's huge. The next product in the combo pack, the triplex, is BioCleanse. So we talked the other day about BioCleanse when I was talking about stress. The magnesium supplement. So why am I recommending BioCleanse again for gut health and for the microbiome? Okay, so here's the thing. BioCleanse, the magnesium we already talked about, but what it does is it detoxifies and it cleanses, waste, pathogens, plaque, all these types of things from not only the GI tract, but also the colon, arteries, even the blood. So it's a cleansing. It pulls all these harmful things out of the body. And it's a crucial, very crucial companion to ProBio 5. In fact, I always recommend taking them together. Like, I rarely ever recommend, okay, take this ProBio 5 without recommending BioCleanse, okay? Because here's why. Think of this whole process as cleaning your toilet bowl. Okay, so ProBio 5 is like scrubbing the toilet bowl. BioCleanse is flushing. Okay, so if you scrub your toilet bowl and you're trying to get all that yucky stuff out and then you don't flush, what happens? You have all that gunk, okay, still sitting in the bowl. Your toilet is not clean. It's very, very important, okay, to flush the toilet. So the same thing, it's the same here. When you're taking ProBio 5, you're killing, potentially, you're killing these bacteria, these live organisms, okay, and funguses, yeast, pathogens. And when you do that, they create these toxic byproducts, okay, that when they die, these are living organisms, okay? So what happens then is this stuff gets in your body, it stays in your body, and it's making it worse. So BioCleanse then, as you're killing, BioCleanse is pulling all of that stuff out. So it's a two-step process. The two of them together are extremely important. They both have an equally important job when it comes to keeping the gut health and the microbiome. So for the GI tract especially, for an example, what if you said the GI tract is like a straw, okay? What if you used the same straw every single day? You drank your coffee out of it, your juice, your smoothies, whatever, and then at the end of the day, you just stuck the straw back in the drawer. Well, after a while, what would your straw be like? It would be nasty. It'd be gross, dirty. The GI tract is like a straw. Like, we send all this stuff through it, and a good portion of it is not good. A good portion of it is processed stuff, chemicals, additives. I mean, just think about all the stuff that not even that we eat, that we drink, or that we breathe in through the air, or that touch our skin, all the chemicals. This stuff, a lot of it stays in us. It doesn't come out until we pull it out, until we cleanse. So that's extremely important, especially nowadays where everything is just, there's so many chemicals and so many toxins that we come into contact with every day. To kind of illustrate this from a GI standpoint, from a digestive gut health standpoint, I'm going to share my computer screen with you for a minute. Something quite graphic, but I want to show you a picture real quick. Let me find it. Okay. So here is a picture, okay? Now, this is a picture from Tammy Morse. She is a colon hydrotherapist, and she's also a Plexus ambassador, actually. This is a picture of a colon of a 22-year-old, okay? Has 28 pounds of waste in it. She said she could share tons of photos like this, that it happens more than we think, and that this is becoming more and more common because of all the buildup and stuff that we are not cleansing out of our bodies, our digestion, our gut especially. It's filled with gunk. I mean, so this is a real issue. So please do not underestimate the importance of good gut cleansing. Now, when I say cleansing, okay, some of you are freaking out. You're like, oh my gosh, like you're thinking the night before colonoscopy. I know you are, and you're terrified of taking BioCleanse. No, it is not like that. Okay, this is a gentle cleanse, and it's not. A lot of those are a cleanse like for one time. It's intense. You know, BioCleanse is meant to be a daily thing, because daily we come into contact with chemicals and toxins. It just is the way that our world is right now. So this is made to be a daily thing. It's not intense. And when you first start taking BioCleanse, say you order it today, what I do is I send you a dosing schedule to ease into it, because you work your way into the dosage that suits you. And so we never want you to have that night before colonoscopy experience. This is an ease into it and a daily gentle type of cleanse. So don't be afraid. I know some of you are wondering. Okay, so the last product, that's the BioCleanse. That's the triplex, the Slim, Probio 5, and BioCleanse, okay? The other product that I did want to recommend, it's a new Plexus product, and it's called Plexus Vital Biome, okay? And it's kind of like the sister product or the companion to Probio 5. It is a probiotic, but it has 8 additional different strands of probiotics. I'm not going to get into all 8 of them, but the key here is 8 in addition to those other 5. So this is key because remember I told you that the gut likes diversity in strains. So especially for those of you who either do suffer with thyroid issues or think that you might. Remember we talked yesterday about how the thyroid not having a good diversity can affect thyroid producing hormones. So this is key for that as well. But also it has a delayed response or delayed release capsule. So again, just like Probio 5, it can withstand stomach acid. It doesn't get harmed. It gets to its destination where it's needed in the gut. And it also comes in what's called a plexi pack. It's like this thick walled bottle to kind of protect and keep the probiotics safe, because a lot of probiotics, different strains, they're very susceptible to like heat or oxygen. So technically you really should not keep your probiotics, especially these ones, in like a pill box, because you're decreasing the potency and losing a lot when you expose them to the oxygen like that. So these come in a plexi pack that will protect them for as long as they're in the pack. Because again, you know, they're live things that we need to take care of. So what about these 8 strains? I'm not going to go through them, but I will tell you, you know, yesterday I told you that different strains do different things. They have different jobs. These specific ones that are in the Plexus Vital Biome, they have specific jobs as well. They reduce GI stress, so they can really help with the bloating. They stabilize stress hormones and reduce the feelings of stress and anxiety, and can really improve your mood. They've done studies, and these are the strands that really help with this. They also support a healthy immune system. I mean, these strains have been researched, 279 scientific studies on these. So this isn't just, you know, Plexus or me saying, well, we think. No, these 279 scientific studies on these. So it's kind of a big deal. This is real. It's legit. So this is kind of why I recommend Plexus Vital Biome when it comes to gut health, in addition to the triplex, because it's better than a 1-2 punch. It's like this quadruple whammy. You're feeding the good guys, you're killing the bad guys, you're cleansing the body of everything that you kill. It's like this full spectrum strategy where you're taking care of every piece of the puzzle, which is needed when you're attempting to take back good gut health. You know, you don't want to just repopulate some good guys or just do prebiotics and hope for the best. You know, like, I think it's really important to kind of address every single issue and the whole scope of it to ensure that you're really doing what you need to get this ecosystem to flourish. Again, if you think of it like a garden, it's very much like a garden. There's many things that have to be done to get that growth. So that's why I recommend, I know it's 4 products, but I'm telling you that they each have a very specific job and a very necessary job when we're talking about gut health. So there, you've heard me. That's the here. So let's think. Think about whether you need or want to introduce some healthy gut-friendly things into your diet. See yourself, you know, do you have the belly bloat, indigestion, mood issues? You know, have you ever had your appendix out? Because here's the thing, listen, I recently had my appendix out, and I was amazed. I was floored by the number of people who said to me, oh, it's just your appendix. You don't need your appendix. Well, first of all, God doesn't make useless parts, okay? That's not my belief anyways. But second of all, I know that it's not useless. Your appendix is a storehouse for good bacteria. So its job is to, when the gut starts to get low on certain good bacteria, your appendix has this storehouse and it pushes good bacteria through. It repopulates. So, you know, say you had some type of processed food that was wiping out a bunch of things, or you had to take a dose of an antibiotic, or whatever the case was, your appendix, that storehouse, is supposed to repopulate that as life happens. So I'm telling you, if you have had your appendix out, you don't have that storehouse anymore. And I would very strongly ask you to consider a probiotic, because you really do need to be helping your ecosystem, because now you're kind of behind the game without that storehouse. And I mean, unless you can make a conscious effort to introduce, like I said, the prebiotic foods or whatever, stay away from all toxins, all chemicals, eat all organic veggies, many of them every day, and do everything that I said. If you're going to do that to a T and be strict, you might still be okay. I can't guarantee you that, though, because you're still breathing in the air that is not ideal. If you're still drinking water out of the tap, not ideal. That is harmful to the microbiome as well, without a filter or something. So there's just different things. There's so many different things. So I do strongly advise that if you've had your appendix out. Okay, lastly, do it. So whatever you decide you're going to do, go to the store, get your stuff, get your raw veggies for your salads that's coming up, or for your prebiotics, or get your psyllium husk, or get your triplex and your microbiome, whatever you're going to use to start feeding this garden of yours, this ecosystem. That's your do it. Go shopping, get it. If you need any help with any of it, just feel free to message me. Again, I'm going to post a Candida symptom survey on here, but you can also check another one out on my website too. But I encourage you guys to be active and really move forward with this, because every day that the microbiome is being harmed is a day that you're going backwards in your journey to health. I told you at the first part of this how important it is in overall health and how important it is in weight. And there's no time like the present. It's every day wasted is a day wasted going back. So, okay, that's it for gut health. That's just those 2 parts. So that's it for today. And I will start a new one tomorrow. That's going to be our last one in this series. And we will talk to you tomorrow. Okay. Thanks everybody for listening. See you next time.